Hello everybody and welcome back to our channel. My name is Lia.
And I'm AK.
And this is our channel where we talk about property investing, business and working together as a couple.
And in this video, we are going to be talking about something that has essentially been pretty groundbreaking for us recently, and that is money beliefs.
And why are we talking about money beliefs?
Why are we talking about money beliefs?
Well, obviously you guys know that we share a lot about our journey in property together, in business together. And we think that our money beliefs, which have started from when we were children, have definitely affected us up to where we are now and will carry on affecting us unless we start talking about them more and opening up that dialogue to help overcome some deep-rooted beliefs we have about money. Yeah. So that's why we're making this video, and we hope that it resonates with you because everyone has beliefs about money. Even if you think you don't, you do. Okay, so we've all read finance books, we've all read self-improvement books, and no matter how many times you hear these things...
Not everyone.
Not everyone, that's true. But I feel like a lot of us in this community have, read Think and Grow Rich,
Napoleon
Rich Dad,
Hill.
Poor Dad, and Money by Tony Robbins. Yeah. And I feel like these books do explore a lot of the common beliefs about money. And I've screenshotted some of the most common beliefs. So I thought we could just say some of these out loud because I feel like they will land and we've all heard them before and perhaps we do believe them. Money will solve all of my problems.
Money is bad.
Wanting more money is greedy.
It takes money to make money.
Having money is selfish.
My family's never been rich.
Money changes people. You change when you have money.
Money causes conflict.
Yeah. Money is the root of all evil. I've heard that one so many times. And this one, money cannot buy happiness.
Classic.
That's a classic one.
It's a classic. Money will give my life meaning.
I've heard this one from certain family members as well. Money is there to be spent. So that's if you've got a spender in your family.
Yeah.
Which I have had.
Do you know what's really interesting about that?
What?
You said that and my instant reaction was like...
Really?
Like, yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean spent? Spent where? Spent? How are you going to get it back?
Yeah.
That's interesting because then some of my beliefs are coming in just from
hearing that
one line. Yeah.
So there's that as well. And we wanted to open up some of our beliefs about money in this video that have perhaps stemmed from our childhood and maybe talk a little bit on how we've had to shed some of those beliefs just to get to where we are at this point in our life as a couple and where we're at in business together.
We've been together now for sort of 5 years or 6 years?
I think 5, maybe 6. We're not one of those couples that count either.
Yeah, so we've been together for some time now. And and what's really interesting is that we're only really exploring this now. It was literally last week that I had this kind of realization that our beliefs on money are very different. And that's not a good thing or a bad thing. That's just something that I've noticed. And a lot of what Leah believes in money, I'd like to sort of try to bring into my sort of thinking as well and just challenge my own beliefs. Because I think moving forward, like you said, I wouldn't like to take the negative parts of my beliefs and pass them on to others. We
were talking earlier about future family, and we know from our childhood that whatever we see from the people that raise us is what we'll start believing. We've watched a YouTube video where experts say that from the age of 3, you are developing money scripts, which is beliefs about money from watching your parents, grandparents, or your caregivers. So when we have a family, we just want to make sure that we are passing on the most helpful beliefs about money so that we're not just having history repeat itself, perhaps.
Yeah. So one is like identify what those beliefs are.
Yeah.
So what are those beliefs? That's the first thing you can do is kind of be like, what do I actually believe?
Yeah.
And then the second thing is kind of looking at that and saying to yourself, like, is that true or is that false?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's quite an interesting way to look at it.
And do you think that people in your life have got very similar beliefs moving down? Like I'm looking at my own and I'm thinking, oh, I can see mum's side of the family perhaps have this belief, my dad's side have this belief. What are my beliefs?
Yeah.
Which I'll talk about in the video because I feel like I've grown up around some very, very different ideas about money. But what about for you first?
I think both my parents have different beliefs around money, but I feel like there was one parent influence is a little bit more dominant than the other in terms of beliefs. Having more exposure to one side of the family and that ideology versus the other side, for example. Yeah. Just very, very different.
And when it comes to being in a relationship and also having a business, do you think your beliefs about money have affected every financial decision you've made up until this point in your life? And carry on affecting like our business, our relationship, everything.
Yeah, and I think not every decision has been negative, or not every decision has been positive. When I was younger and I was sort of at school or at college, I guess some of my beliefs on money was that if you didn't work, you weren't going to earn money. If you didn't take action, you didn't have, right?
Yeah.
And whilst there's some truth to that, I would often be working a lot in the summer holidays or after school, at weekends, that type of thing, to earn money. And I would look at some of my friends who would be living what I would deem as more of a normal life, like just have fun,
life. Yeah.
have fun, right?
Yeah.
If I don't judge that situation,
Yeah.
you can see very early on those beliefs on money that I had.
And I would say that has carried you through the whole time. I remember when we first met, you were very, very aware always of money and how you were in a PAYE job. So you were sometimes, in my opinion, comparing yourself to other people who were not getting that same salary every single month, no matter how much they put in or didn't put in. It was the same amount of money landing into your bank account every single month. Whereas like, for me, for instance, I was a freelancer and I would say, oh, I've had a really, really good month, or I've not really had the best month. And we would talk about how different that is, how you had safety, security, predictability, and I didn't have any of those things.
And you were okay with it.
And I was absolutely fine with it.
Yeah.
And I think that looking at my own childhood and what I was around and money beliefs, I feel like I had some very contrasting things going on based on the people that raised me. My grandma, who looked after me and my brother a lot, because my parents were working a lot, she had her parents' influence on money, which was, we never have any money, we don't have anything, we have to save a lot. And you got that war mentality as well, you know, making food go further, shopping around to get the cheapest price, always any discounts, savings. I got all of that from her, like using coupons everywhere, all of those things. And some of the most amazing money lessons about thrifting as well, I got from her. And then on the other hand, I've been around my mum and dad. And I remember being a kid, my dad would come home on a Friday with the weekly takings of the family business. And me and my brother would be sitting on the carpet at night in the living room. My dad would empty money bags. At the time, it was cash, obviously. And mine and my brother's job was to count all of the weekly takings of the family business. So it was so funny.
It's just like child labour.
So funny.
I just for some reason, I just thought child labour.
Did you?
Yeah.
And basically, my dad would always then check our work, but we had to like do piles, like 100, 100, 100, and we had to put pound coins into bags of 20, 20, 20, 20, so he could go and bank all this money. But what was really interesting was there was full transparency. There was no secrets ever about money. I knew everything. And I didn't even know there was anything to hide. It didn't even occur to me that other kids didn't have full transparency on money, because I just thought what I had was normal. And my dad would do these piles and go, that pile, that's for the tax man. This pile's for mum to go and do the weekly shopping. This pile here is for bills, gas, electricity, water. So we'd count the money and then we'd do these piles. And then he'd go, and this bit here, this is the fun pile, this is for spending, this is where we go out on a Sunday and we go out for nice meals and da-da-da-da. And I remember seeing this pile, this massive pile for the tax man, and I grew up saying, I want to be him. I want to be the tax man, because I saw how much he was getting. And I don't know, that's just one of the things about money, like having this full transparency as a kid and always talking about money, always doing workings out with my dad and maths and always being around numbers and learning. My dad never read a book in his life, but he's the smartest man I know about money. It's just very interesting how that has affected me later in life. I always feel like very abundance mindset with money, but equally, you know, I can see that has affected me in other ways. I don't have as much like fear. I don't have as much like, oh my God, we're never going to be okay. Sorry, our camera died, so back on. You
talk about that maybe not giving you fear, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I think maybe what you could be referring to is like a drive. If I don't do this, then
I won't have anything.
Then X doesn't happen, which again isn't a bad thing, but I think anything in extreme is bad, because I think that's one of my negatives is like there's that extreme drive which can cause anxiety and
affect things that are else in your life.
Yeah.
At the ultimate goal of only driving to get money. Yeah. But then you ask yourself, okay, why? What can money give you? And that, again, that's, I think, based on what you see and believe from a kid. So I think for you, what we've spoken about is that you feel money will give you freedom because you will not need an employer or someone else to get money.
Yeah.
So it's ultimate control of your life and freedom.
And I think that's like a theme for me, isn't it? Is like taking control, having control. Like it's this, like, I don't want to be out of control.
Yeah.
But interesting, you talk about, you know, your dad bringing the weekly takings home, and sort of you can physically see like that
money
is for that, that is for that, that is for that, and you're physically around money.
Yeah.
What's interesting is my dad was in pretty much the same business, not the same business together. I mean, like, they were in the same sort of industry, yet that was not a thing in our household.
Never saw money, or
never was around
it.
money, never saw the money, never talked about the money.
Right, okay.
And so regardless of whether money was there or wasn't there, because it wasn't visible, because it wasn't sort of being reinforced, my default was like, there's no money there.
Right, okay.
Because you can't see it.
Okay. Yeah, no, I always saw it, and then later in life, so I'm a bit older at this point. I've finished school, finished education. No, at this point, the story I'm about to tell, I'm now at a stage where I'm making a little bit of money in a job. I'm living in London, but I'm still needing help from my parents to stand on my own feet. I was making enough, I think, to cover my rent, a bit of bills, but I just didn't have enough. And I was obviously so privileged to have help from my mum and dad to just exist. I'd get money off them. It would be split like into envelopes, and I couldn't open the next envelope until a certain date because all the money in that envelope had to cover fridge, food, living, anything fun from that envelope. So I was kind of being trained to not go into what I can't have yet, or like what, you know what I mean? And that was until a period of time where I was like, I can stand on my own 2 feet now. I'm now making enough money from my own jobs and I don't need you guys anymore. And I think, I mean, I'm very, very privileged to say this, that I had help probably till like the age of 24.
Wow.
Yeah, from like, you know, so obviously going through school, I didn't have to do extra jobs. I got jobs from like 19 onwards, but it wasn't enough for me to live truly on my own until about 23, 24.
But I think that's interesting because you had that support until that age, and that's fine, that's normal. That,
well, it's not normal. I realise extremely lucky to have. A lot of people don't have that help till that age.
What I mean is, it's normal for you, as in like in your world, that's normal. Like that's not a problem. That's just your parents are like, this is the situation.
Yeah.
What's interesting, because we spoke about this last week, is that I felt guilt when people helped me with money.
Okay. Yeah.
So again, like, we could be, if I was in the same situation and
you were given money,
and I was given money, I wouldn't like I wouldn't feel good. It would make me feel like I wasn't doing well.
Right, okay. It didn't make me feel like that in any way. It made me feel like so lucky that I was able to have that help to be able to do what I love, because I had this unshakable belief that what I love will eventually pay me enough to live on my own without their help, and it did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see how that you've got that belief that if anyone gives you anything, you owe it them back, plus more, plus you feel like rubbish because you've had to have the help.
But I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is that because you grew up sort of seeing money there, it didn't feel scarce to you. So when you're being helped, you're like, well, it's not scarce, there's no problem. Whereas I didn't see it. So when I was being helped, I thought I was putting someone else out.
Okay, so I never ever asked for money.
No, yeah.
And I know you're not accusing me of that, but I never ever said, can I have money? I didn't really feel comfortable ever saying, can I have? I wouldn't do that. But they could see from my situation. There's another story that I'm not going to go into at this point where I got into a little bit of trouble and they had to help me. And in that situation, they were like, why didn't you just ask us for help? We could have helped you. Why did you do that thing? So yeah, that's just, I hope that paints a picture about where my money beliefs might come from, where yours might come from. And I think with this video, the aim is to encourage you guys, our audience, to ask yourself, what are your money beliefs? And if you don't know what they are, then maybe write down a list, or like the people that raised you and what their beliefs are, or just ask them, what do you think about money? Ask them questions and really think about if that's true to your current beliefs about money. Because I think that to move forward in your life and in business and in any relationship where money is involved, you've got to shake some of the beliefs and adopt new ones.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I never had any positive beliefs in terms of like investment. Obviously, this is a channel about property investing and stuff like that. And obviously your beliefs need to be certain beliefs when you're investing in property, right?
Yeah.
But as a kid, I never I never grew up around like, take this as a tool and go and put it here because it's going to create whatever. Mine was more about like, make money and hold it, and do you know what I mean? So
yeah, it was really interesting. So I remember like being around Dad, who again I must reiterate has never read a book in his life, but he would show me like the stocks, and we'd look at the stocks on like teletext, and he'd be like, oh look Leah, I'm going to phone up now and I'm going to invest this much money in this stock, and we're going to monitor how well this stock does, and by this time how much it's made. And I remember just being completely like uninterested in this as a kid, but as I grew older, I understood the notion of like investing in stocks, and I could see that my dad was making money from his business, and he'd take me along to property viewings, and he'd then say, oh, I'm going to buy this house and then people are going to live in it and that's going to pay me money. And I was just learning without learning kind of thing by osmosis. But I didn't ever realise that other people could grow up around any other money belief other than what I knew. I just knew, oh, there's certain people in my family that think they have nothing. And then there's certain people in my family that work really hard and have this abundance belief and also give a lot. I grew up around someone who would give away a lot and always help people. As I get older, I really admire that trait because I go, wow, imagine being able to be that generous with money. And
great.
A lot of it was,
it's great.
Yeah, it's really, it's
cool.
Crazy how much it does affect you and inspire you.
Yeah, but I think as Leah said, I think the first thing really is just to start exploring the beliefs that you do have.
Yeah.
And just sit down with a piece of paper or whatever you've got and just start asking yourself what you believe. So like, what do you think about money? Like, what do you believe? Do you believe it's scarce? Do you believe there's tons of it? Do you believe it's easy to get? Do you believe it's hard to get? You know, and just start there. And this is going to be a journey to really understand where you're currently at with that.
And let us know in the comments, you know, if you'd be interested in more videos about this subject. I know for sure I've got an idea about a video which is to do with female finance, because I grew up around someone who my dad took control of all money decisions and my mum didn't do anything to do with money. It was only later in life where they separated, when my mum had to navigate anything to do with money, learn how to pay bills, or do you know what I mean? And I just think there's a lot to talk about in 2024 with females now owning their money and owning themselves and their money identity and investing. So I'd let us know if you'd be interested in more videos, because I think there's so much more we can talk about on this subject.
Yeah, 100%. And we hope you enjoyed that. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Also check out our website, propertycouple.co.uk, and we will see you in the next one.
Take care. Bye.